Hello and welcome to the channel. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. It is free. So, Missouri bill wants to ban legislature requiring businesses to pay for EV infrastructure. So that is an interesting article. So let's go ahead and get the reading. It's a lot of reading. My English no good, but that's okay, man. All right, so we're going right in. Member of Missouri House Committee are arguing that requiring businesses to install electric vehicle chargers is infringement on their freedoms. Instead, the government wants to ensure that cities, counties that do require such installations to pay the bill themselves. The bill is backed both by fossil fuel interests and Missouri retailers associations. Now, I think that it would work out in the benefit of the in the stores, like as long as you can make some money off of it. There has to be some sort of incentive for the business in order for them to put it in there, but don't just force them to do it. And I do agree with that. If I was a business, what if I can't afford to pay for those charging stations because they're so expensive? Those things are super expensive, but there should be some sort of incentives to work with those companies to install those charging stations, especially if you're in a very busy area. um, I think that would definitely be beneficial for you as a business. But anyway, moving on. A new bill up for debate in Missouri would potentially slow EV adaptation as it shifts the weight of infrastructure costs away from businesses and onto local government. We've gotten the cart before the horse in many, many ways, said sponsor of the bill, Republican Representative Jim Murphy from St. Louis County. When we look at electric vehicles, are they the future? Maybe, probably, but not assuredly. What we are doing now is using building codes to push political agendas. And what is this? Really, it's no new Green Deal piece of legislation to force people into something that we really can't afford to do, he said, according to NPR. Honestly, when I look into the future, if you guys watch my videos, if you guys been here for a while now, I don't believe I'm with the Toyota CEO, even though he has stepped down to be chairman. Um, I don't believe that we should all just put our our eggs in one basket on the EV future. I think we need to have like an alternative fuel source. So that is why I'm always talking about hydrogen fuel source. And unfortunately, the infrastructure is still not there when it comes to hydrogen. Same thing with the EVs. You can build new charging stations, but how are those charging stations electricity being produced by? It's being produced by natural gas. So how is EV cleaner than a gasoline vehicle? The way these cars are produced, how are they produced? They're not that clean when they're being made. They're not made in a factory where there's no usage of natural gas electricity and it's purely on, windmills, or what is those things called? Uh, Whether, like water turbines or whatever. It's not true. They're all using natural gas electricity to produce these vehicles. And guess how do you charge them? With natural gas electricity. That's how you charge them. So EVs aren't really that clean, to be honest. And unfortunately, in certain states, you're going to have issues. Like in the state of California, we have issues with our electricity where we struggle during the summertime. So imagine if everybody in the state of California gets EVs and they plug them in at the same fucking time. What is going to happen? It's going to be a nightmare, disastrous. Anyways, moving on. But, the state of California, they don't give a shit. They just keep trying to shove these ideas in our fucking throat. And we got to do something. Got to do something. And it's not just this state. I'm sure other states too that have electricity issues of some sort because the network is not set up to handle this kind of load. It doesn't matter what state that you're in; those those power grids have to be retrofitted for them to handle those kind of energy that's coming through. So we'll see. He seems convinced that more charging stations are bad for more than just a simple cost analysis. If I put in 10, 12, 15 more spots that have electric charging stations, the parking lot is full, and you pull in your gas guzzling pickup truck, are you going to park in that spot anyway? Murphy said, is there going to be fistfights? Now, here's where we disagree. Um, most charging stations that I've seen so far, I've only used like several ones. I'm only very like, uh, I just like to use what's convenient for me. But what I have seen from charging stations, they usually put the charging stations all the way in the backside. You know what I mean? So then you have regular parking in the front. I've seen Tesla superchargers. They're usually like in the backside of the charging of the gas station. There's one gas station that has like I don't know, it was like 10 to 12 supercharging stations, and then they also have regular gasoline, as well too. And then you have your parking spots in the front, and those ones have like your handicap, obviously, and just regular, parking spots. But places like Target, Walmart, well, Walmart, I know they have charging stations as well too, and those ones are a little bit closer. But the ones that I have used, like the one by the Ontario Mills Mall, that one is all the way in the backside, and that has like 8 or more stalls in there, so there's not a lot. Um, but who's paying for that energy? Is the business paying for it, or is it the government? Who knows? Who's picking up the tab? Because obviously, you're getting charged for those electricity, especially if you use Electrify America. Just like with the Tesla superchargers, you get charged for those charging stations as well too. But moving on the other side of the debate, a representative of Sierra Club, an environmental organization, Jake Metz, nope, I'm not saying that name, argued that the bill needless imposes its rules. I don't like the fact that you're taking away local control from cities and counties. He told the committee that's what you guys have been doing for years. He says that areas with more charging infrastructure draw more EV owners. That sound that certainly sounds realistic. And it's true, man. Because imagine if you are traveling, whether you're going from San Diego to San Francisco, and you have the freeway, and you also have several charging stations. When you stop by, you're gonna grab some items from the store, so the stores benefit in some ways. But I do feel like it's wrong for the business to pick up the tab for all those electricity that's being used, especially when it's like peak hours. And also another thing too, and make sure that most businesses, if you are going to be installing these chargers in your, place of business, wherever that may be, whether it's a mall, stores, or whatever, make sure you install something a little bit faster than level two, because those level two chargers take forever. So if I go to a Walmart and I charge my car and I plug my car in, it's gonna take a really long time for me to get just like 30 30-mile range, because it's level two, even though it's a little bit faster, whether you're charging 7.2 miles per kilowatt or whatever it is, it just depends on where you're at. 150 kilowatt, that sounds amazing, but when it's cold, you're going to get a fraction of that. Same thing when you plug in on a level two, when it's cold out there, you're going to get a fraction of that, or it's going to charge extremely slow. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think of the issues here they're having in Missouri. Do you think that businesses should be paying for the EV infrastructure, or the government? Which way are you leaning towards? I'm leaning towards the government, because they want to push EVs down our throat. I think they should be given incentives to businesses to make the transition a little bit better. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one.